Hashtag Cafe Texan, and continuing on now, finally the afternoon, just a little bit afternoon here, and we are so excited and thrilled over the halfway mark, by the way. So we are just so thankful for everyone who is donating and giving today to the SAAFE House, such an important organization here in our community, helping women through just very tough situations, giving them a safe place to be. And that's what the SAAFE House is all about. And we have been interviewing folks all morning and supporting them, and we want you to support them. And in return, that's going to support the SAAFE House, and continue to do that. We'll have links up throughout as we continue on here this afternoon. Well, we are joined by the board president, Ms. Sue Badrak, who has been patiently waiting, and very thrilled to be able to talk with Sue and her involvement here with SAAFE House. Sue, good to have you. There you are. Welcome in.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, great to have you. How's the day going so far?
It's going great. It's a beautiful day out, and it looks like we've had a lot of supporters. I'm very excited.
Yeah, we have had a lot. Well, I'd like for you first, you know, you and I have met briefly in the past, but there's folks out there watching, maybe they don't know you, Sue, and I just wanted to introduce you for a moment. Let us know a little bit about your journey. I know you've been in this area since the 70s, but maybe tell us a little bit about your story and just kind of how you got over here to Huntsville, if you don't mind. And kind of hold that a little bit closer if you don't mind. Yeah, perfect.
Sure,
there you go.
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay, so, well, I lived in Sugar Land in Missouri City, Texas for a while, and I was in the grassroots of building the Fort Bend County Women's Center, which opened in 1983. So I was involved from 1983 until I went to graduate school and worked on my master's in marriage and family therapy. And women's study was my priority. I did a lot of work with domestic violence and sexual assault victims. And when I moved to Huntsville, I ran into SAAFE House and became a volunteer right away because it's something I knew, something I was very, very comfortable with. And I've been on the board for 5 years now.
So how did that connection, it's great, you know, I always love to see where the seeds are planted and how the growth happens. How did that connection from where you're out just outside of Huntsville, how did you get to Huntsville?
We were looking for a place to retire, somewhere between Houston and Dallas. I have a lot of family up in Dallas, so I wanted to be close enough. It was like a 5-hour drive, now it's only a 3-hour drive. So Huntsville just seemed like the right place. We loved it, loved the community.
I think it's great too, you know, as the board president, you know, you have worked in these organizations before, you've seen firsthand maybe a little bit of just what you took with you from other facilities that you've been a part of that you've been able to utilize and benefit SAAFE House with, if you don't mind.
Okay, well, being from the very beginning of the Fort Bend County Women's Center, and I went through as a volunteer first, and then I got hired on and helped write the manuals and the programs. I eventually became the sexual assault coordinator as well as a therapist for domestic violence. So bringing experience here, I don't work with the clients now, but I have a lot of the experience of it, and I know and I can talk about what they go through. And you know, when I came in, I was very green. I was like, I didn't understand domestic violence, had never been across it before, so I learned a lot, and that was kind of my, you know, it's like, why do they stay with these partners? And when all that comes out, you go like, oh my gosh, I get it now.
Well, you know, we've been talking a lot, obviously, today about giving, because this funds will help to go above and beyond the normal cost to help do extra things. I mean, there's always supplies that are needed, and that's why it's so important that we have these fundraisers today. We've spent so much time talking about the need to give today and encouraging people to give, but since you're the board president, I think this will be appropriate. I kind of saved some of these questions for you. Maybe highlight a little bit more about what SAAFE House does. Most folks have a good idea, but just to re-inform some folks out there a little bit more about what SAAFE House does and why it's so important that we do have fundraisers like this.
Okay, well, we are crisis intervention, so that when a survivor or victim calls, we immediately give them information about how to get connected in, you know, and try to meet their needs. And sometimes that's just as simple as getting them clothes, getting them on their way, you know, to safety, and sometimes it's buying a bus ticket, sometimes it's bringing them into the shelter, and you know, going through that process where they have just so many different things they can get involved in. They, you know, they got to get their kids in school, they got to get a job, they got to find a place to live. So and they get counseling, they get just whatever they need. And
yeah, it's a lot, and you know, you think about maybe someone out there. I don't know firsthand what that's like, and I never ever want to try to put myself into someone else's
Absolutely.
shoes. And I want to encourage anyone out there that is in the middle of a situation to where they're facing domestic abuse. There's help. There's help in organizations like the Safe House. First and foremost, they're going to work hard and keep things confidential. They never want things to get out. You don't want things to get out. That's the number one fear, I think, that keeps a lot of people from getting out of those relationships, is the fear that, man, this person's going to find out and something else is going to happen to me. Safe House works really hard to guide through the steps. And as Tracy said last week, sometimes you can't just pack up right away and leave. There has to be some steps that are in part. You know,
and we give the free counseling that can help them make the plan for that, and they can talk to a counselor that'll tell them, start, putting these papers away, put some money away if you can, prepare yourself to leave the house when you have an opportunity to do so, because we want them to leave safely. Absolutely.
One of the reasons Sue has been sitting around here today, she's been talking to people. She's sitting here in the jail cell at Cafe Texan, and she's in here because you guys need to help get her out. And so all you have to do that is donate. She is almost there. She's a little over the halfway mark. You're doing really good.
I heard. That's wonderful.
She's at $545 right now, a $1,000 goal, and you can donate right now online through givebutter.com. You can do that and be a part of what Safe House is doing today to help raise funds. Sue, too, I wanted to ask you something. Community partners like Cafe Texan allowing to open up this, how important is it for community partners to get involved? Not just individuals, but folks in the community, organizations like Cafe Texan, by the way, another fellow nonprofit in a way.
Right.
How important is it for them to get involved?
It's extremely important. We depend on them so much. The churches, the organizations, the restaurants, the small business owners here in the city of Huntsville, we need their support. And they need to be able to talk about us and say, hey, we're doing this for Safe House. And a lot of times that's the first people are going to hear about Safe House.
Yeah, you think about a restaurant such as this, and this could be a safe place for somebody to come into. And that's why it's so important that we need to spread more awareness about what Safe House does, because you could be sitting, and I've always said this phrase that we always hear, that if you see something, say something. Yes. You never know. You could be sitting in a place like Cafe Texan, and right next to you could accidentally overhear a conversation. That may be your key, that you need to find help for that person to help them. You can do that by calling the Safe House. And I would encourage folks, call the Safe House first. Let them know what you're experiencing, maybe what you've heard. I don't ever encourage people to get in the middle unless it's something actively happening, but you got to be careful because there's safe steps involved in that.
Absolutely.
Right?
You can get yourself in trouble as well,
yeah.
Which I very well know. So call the police if you need to, whatever you need to do. Sometimes it's just if the person gets up and goes to the bathroom, the woman, you can follow her, and I've done that and said, hey, look, this is available if you need something.
Yeah, that's a really good idea, too. I never even thought about that as well. And these are all the resources that the Safe House, they can educate you on, they can provide. And again, that's why it is important to give today. Specifically for the giving today, maybe highlight a little bit about what these funds specifically go to help out. I know a lot of things above and beyond, helping out with different things through Safe House. There's a lot of supplies that these women need when they come in. Things that we take for granted that when they get up and go, they may not have time to grab it.
Sometimes it's with a little paper bag, and that's all they have. So we have to provide them with clothing, with whatever they might need, toiletries, diapers for the baby, baby clothing, whatever they need at the moment. And so we do that. The funds go in a lot of different places. They certainly go for the clients. They go for the programs to keep having us available to help these people. And they go through to the facilities. We are really looking forward to, at some date, building a bigger, larger shelter, both in Polk County and Walker County.
Mm-hmm.
And that takes a great deal of funds, as you can imagine. We are almost always at capacity, and there's always people waiting. So we need bigger facilities, better facilities. There's always repair work on the roof goes out. We have a lot of flooding here. We've had problems with that because we have so many loads of laundry that go through. Our washers go very quickly, our freezers, all that stuff. So there's just so many things that the money goes toward.
Yeah, well, Sue, we appreciate you and, just your heart to say, I want to be a part of this. I've worked in another organization. I know what that's like. You've came here, you brought your talents to Huntsville, and to be a blessing here to SAAFE House right here in Huntsville and throughout Walker County. Also Polk County, as you mentioned, not just Walker. They're having a fundraiser too going on today as well. But again, Sue Badrak, we appreciate all your work. Maybe some final comments. Someone's watching today and they see this and they said they want to give. What would you tell that person today?
Please give. Please dig down as deep as you can and help us. As you know, funds are very tight right now. It's very difficult to get grant money. Sometimes the grants are even getting cut back. So we need your donations desperately. So please consider digging deep into your pockets.
All right. Well, Sue, thank you so much. Such a
you
pleasure
so much,
to be
Rob.
here,
I
and thank you for what you're doing. And again, support Sue. We've got the link up on our social media feeds. Click donate because we are getting close, getting closer and closer to that goal, closing in on $8,000 of that $14,000 goal. With 84 people already supporting. That's great.
That's wonderful. That is really good.
And so continue to bring in that support. And let's get Sue out of here. She's got a lot to do today. We want to get her out of, she's being locked up, so we'll get you out of here after that $1,000, all right?
Thank you so much.
All right, well, we'll step aside and end this one, and we'll be back with more throughout the day as we continue to highlight the good that is happening with SAAFE House. We'll see you back soon, friends.